Hello everybody, it's time for a new video, and if you're like me and you're kind of fed up with this meta and a lot of like random stuff also and Doom also, you might like this deck because it basically counters the meta and it's here to destroy a lot of stuff and also reduce their power. So even if they have out their strongest card and for example Victoria, they probably can't get enough power out to beat this deck. It's a negative deck, or like a deck that reduces the power of your opponent's card, but it's also pretty good because we have Lady Deathstrike in here. So yeah, let's take a look at the cards and go over the deck. First card is Silver Sable. She's a decent card stat-wise, basically a 1/4 if your opponent doesn't have Luke and he plays the card, you hit. But in this deck she also serves the purpose that we steal power. That means we reduce the power of our opponent's card, and this makes hitting Lady Deathstrike a lot easier. With -2 power, that means if we hit a 5 cost, we can still destroy it with Lady Deathstrike. If we hit 4 cost, then of course as well. And of course if we hit 2 cost or something, it's even better because it has 0 power. And then Shadow King is here for different reasons, a few different reasons. One is of course the tech aspect. It beats for example Galacta decks and Surfer decks, and also it is basically here because we play Anti-Venom, and if we don't draw Luke Cage, we can still restore the power to the original power with Shadow King. So he's basically a plan B if we don't draw Luke Cage. He's also pretty strong just in the 2 slot, and that's it. And Iron Patriot, he doesn't really fit in this deck if you look at the cards, but I think the card is just so broken that you want to play it in a lot of decks. Also, it kind of forces your opponent to play cards on a lane, which is really good because we want to play or have our opponent play cards on a lane. We can later reduce with, for example, Man-Thing and also US Agent. So Iron Patriot is here of course because we want a free card if possible and have a good card in our hand from Iron Patriot, but it also forces our opponent to play there, which means the card has two decent things it does. It basically a little bit like Jean Grey, but just as a 2 cost. And then our strongest card in the deck, I think, and it single-handedly wins the game against Doom, for example, is US Agent. -4 power is so strong. So -4 power, and then you can hit Lady Deathstrike if you have her. You of course destroy US Agent as well with that, but it will be enough to kill your opponent's Dooms, for example, and then probably win the game with that. But even without US Lady Deathstrike, the card is really good because you can basically play this card and 2 or 3 other cards on that lane, and you probably win the lane even against the big drop. And then our next card is Rogue. Rogue is here for a few things. Mainly, we don't want our opponent to have Luke Cage, which means if we have Luke Cage, if he has Luke Cage, we want to of course steal it. If he has Victoria, we want to steal it because it's just a decent card. And also it can win you the game against a lot of ongoing decks and also a lot of negative decks, for example. What I also think is that Rogue is strong if you steal something like Blue Marvel, and with the new card Moonstone, I think you will see ongoing a lot more, which will make this deck a little bit stronger. And then our next card is Red Guardian. Red Guardian as well is here for a few things. -2 power, which means we can destroy a card with Lady Deathstrike a lot easier. Also, reduced hits text is one of the strongest effects in the game, which makes Red Guardian one of the best cards in the game right now. Like I said in many videos before, you can single-handedly win the matchup against this card with this single card. Just destroy their Mobius and also the Dracula. And then Luke Cage, a pretty important card in this deck, because of course we will hit our own cards with negative effects like Man-Thing and US Agent. So Luke Cage is here for that reason, that we of course don't want to reduce our card's power. Of course, you don't always do Luke Cage, so you need to think ahead and plan how to play your cards on these lanes. But if you have him, feel free to just like play everywhere and then play Luke Cage on the last turn and surprise your opponent. Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot also here for the negative power and also for the move aspect. In all of my decks, there's at least one card which can move or give us at least a little bit of power and access to a lane we can't go to. So that's Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot in this case. And also, if he steals power, that's always good for Lady Deathstrike. And just a strong free drop in this meta right now. Lunar Snow is here for a single reason. And that is, we want to, if possible, if we have a Doom lineup, we want to destroy the Doom as fast as possible. So we play the Lunar Snow, and then we have Lady Deathstrike on turn 4. And if we don't have prio, we can or if you place Doom on turn 3 with Psylocke or Zabu, for example, we can destroy that Doom as early as possible, which will make the win a lot easier. And that's about the free cost cards, and now we go to the free best cards in this deck, in my opinion, and one of these is Anti-Venom. A lot of people finally caught up to Anti-Venom, and they realized that this card is really, really good, and probably one of the best cards, if not the best card in the game right now. He does so many things, and even if you don't have a high power card, for example, like, I don't know, let's say Hulkling, he's still really, really strong, because let's say we want to play 3 cards on our last turn, for example, Luke Cage and a Man-Thing, but we don't have 7 power. If you have Anti-Venom and you hit, for example, one of these cards, we can play both cards with no problem, even can play a 3rd card, and we can just do so much on turn 5 or 6. Usually when I get the 0 cost card, I hold it until turn 6, so I can check out what to do with it. But it's really, really strong if used in the right hands, I think. And then Man-Thing, 1, 2, and 3 costs with -2 power. There is so much 1, 2, and 3 costs right now, because everyone plays, for example, Hawkeye, and also like Agent 13, Maria Hill, and Collector, and all these like small cards that get a lot of power with Victoria, for example. So Man-Thing is really, really strong as a 4/7, because he can get up to a lot of power with, if you hit 4 cards, that's -8 power, and for 4 cards, that's really, really strong. And if you have Luke Cage for yourself, then of course it will make your smaller cards not affected, which is pretty strong. And even if you have Luke Cage, you can dodge it with, for example, play only Anti-Venom on that lane. That's 14 power, which is sometimes enough to win the lane anyways. And then we go over the last card, and a card that's a little bit underplayed in the meta right now, but I think it's super strong, because a lot of people, or most people, and they do it correctly, they hold Victoria until the last turn. So that means their cards won't have a lot of power, which means Lady Deathstrike will clear them on turn 5 or 6. And then even if they play their Victoria on turn 6, there's not a lot of cards left that gets the +2 power. And also, she's just decent with our negative effects. You can destroy a lot of cards, even with 5 power or 6 power. So she's just super, super strong. You need to be careful to not kill your own cards, but usually you don't kill them, or if you kill them, it's not that much of a bad thing. So check out the gameplay. I didn't play so much with this deck. I don't have so many highlights. I won a lot, and I won a lot of conquests as well. But for highlights, I didn't have so many. Most of the games were 1 or 2 cubers because the opponents left early. But check out some of the highlights, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.